Greetings, everyone. It is Thursday. It is time to get down for this Christmas weekend. We got a little early start. We're gonna have some more Saturday games and everything, but we get the week started off with this gem of a Thursday night game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets up there in New Jersey. Guys, the weather. You guys are up there. Like, what's the weather like as it comes through?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Tom because Tom's going to this game. I mean, I'm looking out the window. It's raining. It's coming down a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Nothing I never played football in before. And I was a receiver, so I had to deal with catching the ball in the rain and things like that. It's doable. It's not what everybody makes it out to be, unless it's coming down like super, super, super hard. But I'm sure Tom's been tuned in and checking out the weather for tonight all the way. The other thing I was seeing is winds from around 10 to 15 miles per hour. As long as it stays like under 14, 13, it shouldn't really affect the game too much as long as it stays under that number. But what are you seeing as you're looking deeper into it, Tom?
I'm seeing 100% chance throughout the whole game. I took a look at the NFL weather app. I don't know if you guys ever used that before. Kind of gives the weather forecast for each game, win probabilities. I'm seeing about the same thing, around 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. Instead if Mike White was playing, I wouldn't be worried, but there's another quarterback playing tonight that I cannot stand, that I'm nervous. He complained about the wind in New England. I can't imagine what the rain will do to this guy. So it should be fun.
Yeah, and I was thinking it would have a different impact on the Jaguars because you've got a team saying everything that you're saying is true, that it's not anything that most guys up in the Northeast haven't played through before. But if you played your whole season in like 85 degrees, balmy weather, home games, and then you got to go up into this. Jacksonville's been playing really well lately, but can they keep it going when they have to go into those kind of conditions? And let's face it, that's a rowdy atmosphere too on a primetime slate. That's
especially
not
with
gonna be easy.
Especially with the Jets playing good, because being up here with the Jets and the Giants, like we know how those fan bases are. You guys are diehards for the teams, but when they're not good, I mean, they're still electric when they're not good. But when they're good, that just takes it to another level. So like the Jets have been winning games. They're obviously capable of winning this game. Winning this game would be very, very important to them. We talked about this last week, Tom, where it was almost a must-win playoff game pretty much. Obviously, I got the right end of that. But
you did, unfortunately.
Either way, they're not mathematically eliminated, I don't think, right?
No, so that Patriot lost last week.
Exactly. So this is another playoff game here for you guys. So it is going to be rowdy. You're right, Chad. But yeah, we got the Jaguars. They're plus 2.5. Now, just yesterday when we did our early line show, Chad locked the Jags in at minus 1.5. So he got the shit end of the stick on that, but he's still confident in the pick. But the line did move. And the over-under set at 36.5. I did say yesterday that there is a play here that I really like. It wasn't on the sides here. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to rip the over 36.5. I'm going to put 1 unit on that for our tracking purposes for the show. But I just think both teams, they have enough power to get this done. The Jags defense really struggles. So I think the Jets and it's crazy that I'm saying this because I'm a big proponent of like not taking anything Zach Wilson for moving the ball or scoring, putting the ball in the end zone, things like that. But I think they'll be able to get a few done here. It's really going to take him really, really messing up against this Jags pass defense to not move the ball at least a little bit, put up some points. And obviously the Jags are capable, even though the Jets defense is very good, obviously. But I think the Jags are capable putting up some points. One other thing we should mention is Trevor Lawrence did struggle in that Eagles game with turnovers, fumbling the ball. And that was the last time he played in like weather like this with the rain and everything. But that should be probably emphasized in the locker room and during practice all week because they knew that they were going to be coming into the same or similar conditions. So I don't think it should be that much of a problem. But yeah, go ahead, Chad. You were going to say something?
No, as we say, this stuff keeps moving. So now the line is down on FanDuel anyway. It's plus 1.5 for the Jaguars, and that over/under is at 37.5 now. So I mean, just little subtle movements, but it is moving.
It actually was that, but I was looking at all of them, and I went with like the more favorable.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So definitely shop around. You're going to see different lines everywhere. These lines in particular were on DraftKings.
Gotcha. Okay,
right before we started the show. But yeah, no, definitely that's a good point. Anyway, shop around. You might find different numbers. Like if you want to back the Jets, go to FanDuel, obviously over DraftKings. If you want to back the Jags, go to DraftKings over FanDuel as it stands right now.
If you want to
Tom,
back the Jets, go back in time to when I picked the Jaguars -1.5 yesterday or 2 days ago and use that.
Hey,
God, this is terrible.
Should have been subscribed. Should have been tuned in.
Jeez, man,
No, you would have got the
All
shit
right.
into the stick on that one. But
let's
Tom,
get
what do you
into
think
it.
in this game?
I like your pick. I think the over definitely. I think the only thing that would scare me about the over, and where I think the Jets are kind of going, and what I've been reading from their reporters and watching practice and all that kind of stuff, is that I think the Jets are going to really try to run the ball today. So I think Foley Fatukasi, who's a big interior defensive lineman for the Jaguars, he's out tonight, which is huge. I think in the 2 games he's missed, I think they've gone from like the 16th ranked rush defense, and they were the 32nd or 31st in the 2 games he was out. And based on how Zach Wilson last week was so inconsistent with his arm, the weather, I think the Jets are going to really lean on the run game, and I think that can benefit them if they get off to the good start. So I wasn't as confident as I was last week about the Jets being Lions, but I have a good feeling. I don't have as good of a feeling this week, and I think the Jaguars might squeak it out. But it's tough. It's a tough read for me. I don't know. The weather is a great equalizer, and that's the only thing that would scare me about the over. But I kind of like the pick. I could see 36.5 is a low number in the NFL, in my opinion. So I could see it.
Yeah,
not as low as 31 or whatever the Browns Saints game is.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I mean, I think sometimes we overplay the weather factor just a little bit, and it's been happening a lot all season. A good example was last Saturday night with the Bills and the Dolphins. I mean, before the snow even started coming down, me and Chad talked about this yesterday. Before it even actually started sticking on the field, the over was long gone. Like they were already way past that, so it really didn't matter. And we're talking about rain here. We're not talking about like a huge snow game where nobody's going to be able to move and everything. Like, yeah, it gets slippery. Yeah, the ball, might pop out. There might be a couple drops we see or things like that. But listen, these guys are professionals. They're getting paid millions of dollars to play football. They've been doing it their whole life. Aside from the guys that grew up in places where it doesn't rain, they've all played in rain games and things like that for their whole life. So, I think that everybody should be able to get their things done. And 36.5, it is low for these two teams that have shown that they can put up some points.
Yeah.
And I hope you're right about them leaning on the run game.
It just seems that way, especially, I don't know if you guys, I was unfortunately at that game against the Lions, and you could see the shift in game plan once Zach Wilson threw that INT in the third quarter against the Lions. I mean, it was like Mike LaFleur was calling scared, and I could just see that tonight, just because he might overthink the weather as a coach. This is his first big boy job as an offensive coordinator. We're all human. He could be overthinking. I could just see this being typical Jets trying to control the clock on the ground, and it just being an ugly one. So
yeah,
so kind of my head's at.
With that in mind, what do you see for some of these player props? What are you looking at? Who specifically are you looking at in that? Is it all Zonovan Knight, or are we looking elsewhere for where that's going to come from?
I saw Zonovan Knight's questionable, and that would scare me a little bit. I think they might lean on Michael Carter, who seems to be a little more healthy this week. The Jets running back room, I could legitimately see all 4 running backs being active tonight, because they're also down 2 receivers. Jeff Smith and Denzel Mims are inactive. Corey Davis is coming back, but I could see them activating all 4 running backs and kind of utilizing them all, especially if Zonovan Knight's a little banged up. So I'm not sure. I'd be looking at some tweets from the Jets side and looking to see how they're going to try to game plan Zonovan Knight. 59.5, if he's healthy, I love that number, but I don't know how much they're going to use him based on that ankle injury he's dealing with. So should be interesting.
Yeah, the last I saw, he was listed probable, but so he should play. But yeah, the factor of possibly being banged up still obviously always there. So
yeah,
he's probably not old enough for his ankle to really start barking louder when the weather changes. But it is there's something to that barometric pressure and what it'll do sometimes to that. But Michael Carter at 21.5, do you like that? To jump in on it early to take a stab at it, or is that still you want to see a little bit more info about the health of some of the other guys and who they're going to run active out there?
I think I would want to see a little more, because when Zonovan Knight's been healthy and both of them been playing, Michael Carter's been primarily the third down back, so more passing situations for him. Listen, 21.5 against a Jaguars defense that's susceptible to giving up big plays on the ground. He pops one run, he's got it, especially if he's getting more touches tonight. So yeah. I don't think it's a bad play at 21.5 this early, because, like to your point, if Zonovan Knight for the unforeseen reason is marked as going to split carries or whatever, that line's going to go up. So, yeah.
While we were on the topic of injuries and people being banged up, there is some other things worth noting in terms of the injury report for this game. Obviously, the Jags, they lost Cam Robinson for the season last week against the Cowboys. That's pretty big against this Jets pass rush, who has been very good. They're number 8 in sacks per game. I think they get like 2.8, almost 3 sacks per game. We got Cam Robinson out and a couple other O linemen that are listed as questionable the last I saw. Trayvon Walker was also ruled out yesterday on the defensive side of things there. So, a little less trouble for Zach Wilson. Hopefully the dogs are barking. So it looks like a good day for the Jaguars. Chad's feeling good now.
I unmuted my mic because I was like, wait, why am I muting my mic? This is good for the show. Let me get this going, man.
And then Trevor Lawrence, he's going to play, but he's been banged up a little bit with the toe. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. But and then obviously Wilson's starting because Mike White's hurt. Quinnen Williams is somebody we haven't mentioned. He's listed as probable as well, so he'll play. But there might be a snap count. I don't know. So that's just something to pay attention to. A couple of Jets O linemen, I think at the tackle position should be good to go, but they are on the injury report. So just some things to monitor also while we were on the topic of the injuries.
Yeah. So, all right. So we talked about the running game and some of the injuries to pay attention to there. And, obviously it's a little bit better and healthier front for the Jets. So I don't know about ETN. I like what you talked about before we came on the air with him for an anytime touchdown. I just don't know about his yardage for this game because I actually kind of think that this is going to be one where they may try to continue to go to the air with Lawrence and let him do his thing. Get him outside the pocket a little bit. Let him create with his legs too. What do you see from the receiving side in this game, or either of you guys? What do y'all see in this one?
I'm looking at exactly what you just said there, actually. So I'm looking at Christian Kirk here. Rain game. The Jets, they obviously have a good pass rush, but Kirk, he plays in the slot a lot, so he might avoid that DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner problem just a little bit playing in the slot, especially with the way Zay Jones has been playing the past 5 weeks or whatever. And he's been putting on. So I could see Sauce maybe following him a little bit, or I know they usually play their own sides, but just putting Kirk in good positions to get the rock and get some yardage by putting him in the slot and away from Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, who have been having phenomenal seasons there. So I think he'll be the one that gets free, and that's kind of his game, like quick little passes where he kind of sneaks around in the flat or on crosser routes and gets some yardage upfield after getting the catch. So I'm looking for him in this game, and especially that Jets pass rush is why I love it. Trevor Lawrence getting the ball away quick, quick game routes for Christian Kirk. His number set at 4.5 catches at plus 114 on FanDuel. I think that's a good play. I would rip it. I'm actually going to do something different, but I would rip that, and I would also rip his yards at 48.5 yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. He's hit the yards in 4 out of the last 6, and the 2 misses were at 45 and 46. So he's one more play or, falling forward a couple more times away from hitting those. For the catches, he's hit 5 catches in 5 out of the last 6 games, and I think this is a good matchup. What I'm going to do, though, if you guys have access to Bet365, I'm going to go on Bet365 where I can parlay those. So it's going to be Christian Kirk, 5 catches and 50 yards at plus 165. I'm going to put a unit on that personally. But if you can't get Bet365, I think both plays, either alone or, playing both of them,
straight,
I don't think it's a bad bet at all. I'm just going for the value, and I'm going to put them together. I think to get 50 yards here against a good Jets defense, he's going to have to get a high amount of volume. So I think they both hit together.
Tom, what about you?
Yeah, no, I love that pick, to be honest with you, because he kind of reminds me in the scheme they play of what Amon-Ra St. Brown does. And he had, I think, 88 yards last week with the Lions pass game against the Jets defense. So I could see that. Personally, on the Jets side, I like 2 picks, actually, one for Jaguars, one for the Jets. I just love Garrett Wilson, 52, over 52.5. He needs 35 to get to 1,000 yards. He's become the focal point of the Jets offense. I just think that number is, once again, I said it last week against Lions, it's just too low for the amount he's using the offense, how much targets he gets, and just his talent, really. And I like the matchup too. And then on the Jaguar side, I really like, to your point earlier, Chad, I really like Travis Etienne's over the 14.5, because if there's one thing that in the passing game the Jets struggle against, and not a lot of teams have taken advantage of it, but watching every one of their games as closely as you do as a fan, when running backs are used against the Jets in the passing game, they're effective. I mean, the Bears went down the field on the Jets, 3 times, and all 3 times it was because they used their backs out of the backfield in the passing game. So I could see a couple screens or something like that, trying to get, substituting for what they might not be able to do on the run game with the pass game, but still using the running back. So I like that number.
Yeah, I like both of those picks too. In terms of Garrett Wilson, like you mentioned, the number is it's still too low for him. I mean, I feel like it's not like they're disrespecting him. They're like disrespecting Zach Wilson, not him.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
There's a lot of Zach Wilson being at quarterback and the potential for the terrible rain game baked into that number. But I think the over is the play. If you're going anybody on that Jets offense today, we mentioned the problem with taking people in the running back room. Yeah, they should probably lean on the run, but that might be all 4 of them having a pretty balanced attack and none of them hitting the over or only one. And you got to pick right. You know what I mean? If you want to just play a safe one on the Jets side, you got to go Garrett Wilson at this low number here.
Yeah. What's Chad, if you don't mind scrolling, I haven't looked at it yet. What's Corey Davis's number? Because he's back today, and that was Zach Wilson's kind of even on there.
He's still not listed on here. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. If he's listed anywhere else real quick while I'm on this tab, but
I just threw this together real quick though, since I had them all pulled up already. I just removed the receptions so that it would make this parlay, and we're at plus 560 for Kirk over 48.5, Garrett Wilson over 52.5, and Travis Etienne at over 14.5. Just if somebody wanted to play with that, it's not bad. When
it's
you
not
think
bad
about
at all.
These are some solid numbers that, I mean, they're not guaranteed. Obviously, that this is the push line here. But we're trying to identify the ones that make the most sense. And for plus 560 odds, that's pretty solid.
I got 2 more that I wanted to, mention.
Did you find anything on?
Kind of ask you guys. Oh yeah, no, I got nothing on Corey
Okay.
Davis. None of the books
Yeah,
have
no
it
worries.
right now that I'm seeing at least. But 2 more things I wanted to ask about for you guys. I want your guys' opinion. I'm not locking these in just yet. But JaMychal Hasty on BetMGM is listed at over or under 7.5 yards. Now look, he's only gotten this in 5 out of the 9 games that he's got carries, but in a game where both teams might have to just run the ball a lot, do you want Etienne taking 20 carries today, or do you want to maybe get the second guy involved a little bit? Now, I'll go through his game logs. When he gets the carries, he hits this. So, he had a game where he had 1 carry for 6 yards, 3 for 57, another one with 1 for 6, 4 for 13, 3 for 6, 1 for 4, 12 for 28, 4 for 13, 1 for 13. So look, it's risky. He might not get the rock much, but dude, I don't know. It feels like a good play. It feels like a really good spot for him to at least just get 2 carries for 8 yards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to rip it though. It is juiced up also at minus 120. So they know they're giving a good value. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it. That seems like a good play. Seems like
so that's on
one,
BetMGM or on
they only have that there BetMGM.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you guys think? Think we should take a chance on that, or too juiced up for a guy who might only get 1 carry?
I'm not.
All right. Next one, Trevor Lawrence. How about
I don't
him
feel
for
it that well.
I don't think I was going to go there anyway. I just wanted to bring it up and see what you guys thought. But what about Trevor Lawrence for running the ball? He's been having some pretty big run games. The Jets, I believe they average 18 yards to the quarterback on the ground per game this season. And Trevor Lawrence has been running quite a lot lately, and it's only listed at 10.5 with this pass rush that he might have to get away from. What do you guys think?
I like that, especially because for some reason the Jets have a hard time bringing down the quarterback. I feel like they might lead the league in pressures and hits, but not sacks. I saw Kirk Cousins squeeze out of one and run for 15 yards on a 3rd and 11. So I think Trevor Lawrence is totally capable of doing something like that for sure. And there's going to be some design runs for him. They like to do. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of the Jaguars, but from my memory, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know this or not, I feel like they run a lot of design QB runs with him in short yardage situations. So I can see a couple of those too.
Yeah,
they mix in the occasional zone read.
Yeah. And what else was I going to say about that?
Well, one of the other things they like to do too, though, because they have such a balanced receiving core, that what they'll do is they'll from time to time they'll roll him to his arm side and just cut the field in half and have like a laddered route tree over there where you've got like a running back or a tight end in the flat, somebody else running like an intermediate out, and then somebody either running a post or maybe running a deep corner or something. And the option is there where if he doesn't see anything out there, he can just take off. and it's almost kind of challenging the defense. Like, all right, you want to come up on me, because then I'm gonna dump it over to that tight end or that intermediate out. So there's some opportunities there too, where it's not even a designed run play or anything like that, but it's designed to give him that option if it's there, and he's capable. He's got. I mean, we saw him when he was at Clemson. Like, he was fully capable of busting off an 80-yarder, and
Yeah.
It's so.
Yeah, I was gonna say he could
13.
Yeah, he could bust a 12, 13-yarder, on one of the first plays of the game if it comes down to it. So yeah, he's definitely capable. I think that might be a good lean right there. If you guys like it, I think people should take it. Everybody listening, if you like it. But I'll keep that as a lean. Now, look, when Zach Wilson got benched, we had to do a moment of silence here on this show because we had to say RIP to a fallen soldier. His unders were just absolute locks every single week. We didn't even look at them usually. Look at the number, look at the juice. We just ripped them. And, it was a very sad day when we heard he was getting benched, but he's back. So I'm going to go right back to Old Reliable here. We have a $25 free bet from BetMGM from Monday night's first touchdown scorer, which we had Aaron Jones. It was A.J. Dillon. Should have went for the backup. But I'm going to use this $25 free bet on Zach Wilson to not throw a touchdown here, which is plus 155 on BetMGM. They have one touchdown super juiced up at like minus 250. So I might as well go for the under.
It's plus 162 on FanDuel.
Yeah, so if you don't have that free bet,
under
go
0.5 on FanDuel. But yeah, you're using your free bet, so I get it. But he's plus 162 at under a half a touchdown.
Plus 190 on PointsBet, plus 165 on DraftKings.
Oh my God.
As well. So yeah, you could definitely get some juice there. Tom, what do you think?
I'll say this: they don't trust him throwing the ball in the red zone. So I mean, they get down to that green area, red area, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be design runs, and they're going to try to run it down the Jaguars' throat. I don't think they're going to trust him to throw it in the red zone. So I mean, listen, you get that number with Zach Wilson. Oof, hard to pass up.
Especially when the Jaguars are missing a big piece on the interior on that defensive line. Because that's one of the things. AG and I fell victim to this a couple of weeks back, where we had Jonathan Taylor as one of our legs in a parlay for an anytime touchdown, and they ran the ball and they ran it right in. It was against the Commanders, ran it right into the teeth of Jonathan Allen, and there's some guys that you're just like, you know what, let's not run right up the middle on this defense because it just ain't worth it. The odds are not there.
But with those key players out there,
when they're missing, when that guy's missing, now it opens up the playbook a little bit more.
And Walker too on the next level too. So you got to factor that into.
No, that's true.
He's been having a solid season for them as the number one pick there.
Come crashing down off the edge and stopping the play in the backfield. That's not there now. Now you got to go. It opens the playbook a little bit more to that run game if they're not trusting Zach Wilson to possibly throw the game away in the red zone, they're going to pound it.
Listen, them not trusting Zach Wilson is great for this bet, but what's even better is that Zach Wilson doesn't trust Zach Wilson throwing the ball down the field.
That's it. You just said it.
And what makes that
I'm more confident in that.
What makes that even better is that even if the Jets coaching staff or Zach Wilson trusts Zach Wilson in the red zone, there's a very good chance that he's going to fuck up and throw a pick or get sacked and fumble the ball away or whatever it is. Yeah. And so that's why nobody trusts him. So
listen, the way this bet loses is Garrett Wilson just doing it all. If he just takes a slant from the 45 and just breaks 3 tackles and takes off, I'm cool with losing that way. You know what I mean? This isn't going to be that red zone drop back precision pass. If it is, then obviously we were totally wrong. Is what it is. It's a free bet. I'm throwing down on it, but I don't see that happening. So I'm definitely confident in this pick.
So then we have a hedge. We got plus 220 on Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown. So there's always that as a hedge. You can have that stuck in there on a parlay where you have that Garrett Wilson touchdown mixed into a parlay somewhere. To where that way you're happy if that happens and that hits, and then if it doesn't,
that's a good point. Yep. It's like taking the guy that you're playing against fantasy. So like you level out your emotions at least if the guy scores.
Or like exactly. Tyler Hohenscheld always does. He always bets against Georgia when they're playing because he's giving a little bit to the gambling gods. And he's like, listen, I'm going to light this $5 on fire. I put my bet in against my team.
He lights some real money.
Yeah, it's real money. Yeah, it's not $5.
For the playoffs,
Yeah.
Georgia playoff games, he'll
drop like
drop like 200 on the other team just as a donation, he hopes.
Hey,
But
I did it last week with the Lions when the Jets went up 17-14 or whatever it was, 13. I went right to FanDuel and I was like, okay, what are Lions plus 390? Bang, put it on it. And listen, I was pissed, but I was happy, and it has crossed my mind tonight. I don't know if I want to, but it has crossed my mind to touch the Jaguars money line. But
listen, I'm a fan, but I'm an LSU fan too. I'm still waiting for my check to come in the mail for when we won the national championship in 2019. It hadn't come yet. So you know what? Fuck those guys. I want my money. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm putting the money down. And if they lose, that's on them. I don't care. Give me my money. So I get it.
You went there too, so you got a real
right.
beef there because you've sent quite a few checks.
That's right. But, it's a lot more expensive now than it was when I went. That was a long time ago. But yeah.
Anybody else got any other players they want to signal out or any other points you want to make on this game real quick?
No, I mean I pretty much had the same ideas as you guys did on I was, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and Travis Etienne. I hadn't really thought about Christian Kirk. I was actually thinking like I'm going to stay away from him because Sauce Gardner was going to probably lock him up. But you're probably right. If they move him around and get him in the slot a little bit, he could probably get some opportunities to at least hit that over.
And not only that, but not only just like the way they can scheme it, but like Zay Jones has really earned. I feel like he's really earned the respect of like Sauce just keying him, especially if as long as they're on that side of the field.
And Marvin Jones ain't a joke either. And then they got to deal with Evan Ingram too. Like there's some weapons.
That Jags team, they develop a little bit more. Next coming years, they could be pretty solid. So. There's a lot of teams like that have been laughingstocks for a while that look like they could be showing up in the next couple of years here as real contenders.
Right.
Yeah, but since nobody else has
parlay,
anything,
man.
I will say I didn't build the parlay yet. So what I was going to say is we do have a risk-free parlay on FanDuel. I'm going to throw that up on Twitter later on today. I want to put some thought into it.
I thought we were going to build something on the air. I was getting all excited.
I mean, we can if you want. We can build a little parlay if you want to build something. But I'm going to. For that risk-free one, I'm gonna throw it up later on Twitter. So make sure you follow us. The link will be in the description box. Tom. So last Thursday night, I had a guest on, my homie Big Mike Rader, and I asked him who's gonna score the first touchdown. He said George Kittle. We were right. We cashed for 12 units on that play alone. So it started off our Week 15 on fire. So I'm gonna go back to the guest here. Who's scoring the first touchdown here tonight? And that's what I'm gonna back with this risk-free on BetMGM.
You're gonna call me crazy. Zach Wilson rushing.
All right, let's do it. That's probably hella juice. I'll take that for a free bet anytime.
Where is it? Plus 2,400. Jeez. All right, you got to look it up on BetMGM though, because it's
1 second. It's coming
plus
up.
2,400 on FanDuel.
Hold on. I'm scrolling, guys.
I got that risk free too. It's already in. It's already in for me. Right, that's why when you said it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use the pick I use. I'm going to use it.
Plus 2,000 on BetMGM, so you're
still pretty good.
Losing a little bit. But if you don't have BetMGM and you just want to take a bet on this anyway, or you got a free bet on FanDuel, plus 2,400, that's where you're getting the best juice on that. But let's rip it. Fuck it. 20 units to start Thursday would be fantastic, and we will definitely be sending some donations your way if that hits.
Let's get it.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
Real quick, Tom, give a shout out to ZMT Sports and everything. Again, we skipped over that again. I'm sorry. we keep getting right into the football things, but definitely, give yourself a shout and everything.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, man. Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at sports_ZMT. We're dropping our week 16 pod tomorrow, so you guys can catch that out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So.
Hell yeah. Definitely tune in, guys. These guys know football. I mean, you've seen Mike here, you've seen Tom now a few times on this channel. We're going to keep that going throughout the year, throughout next year, and things like that too. So, thanks for coming on again, man, and we appreciate your insights. Have fun at the game.
Thank you.
Cold. Try to stay dry a little bit.
Stay warm and dry.
I got my Frogger rain suit all ready. It's ready.
There you go. Hey, I hope they give you a nice little Christmas present with the win there while you're there and everything.
We'll see.
Well, I also hope so because that early picks thing where Chad picked the Jags by 2 is a contest.
bro.
We are competing there, so I'm rolling with you guys. I hope the Jets win 37-0 to cash my over and.
Okay,
and
JETS.
Yeah,
let's get
do it. Jets, baby.
ZACH, Zach.
I will say my dad is always like just a supporter of all the teams in the area. He's an Eagles fan, but he roots for the Jets and Giants if they're not playing the Eagles, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I do have a Jets sticker on my window from when I was younger that he put there when I was like 4 years old. I never took it down. It's still there. So I'm riding with you guys today. All right.
Let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's go Jets.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Right.
Happy betting.
Thank
Make sure you tune into the Moose Sports Twitter at MOO_sports. That link's in the description box. Also, check that out in a couple hours before game time, and I'll have that same game parlay placed risk free on FanDuel as well.
Word. Appreciate
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you.